live from the Export Beer Garden studios and brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Thursday, the 23rd of May.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
G'day there, welcome along to Agenda Podcast. Myself, G Lane, Matt Heath. Some good sporting juice to get your lips around this morning.
Bit of drama in rugby, which is good to see.
Absolutely good to see. Rob Penny, everyone's favourite Crusaders coach, has got caught in a hot mic situation in a press conference yesterday. Rightly so, a young reporter who looked like he was about half the size of Rob Penny was going him about questions around whether he should be coach or not in his performance, which, when you are in the position the Crusaders are in, are pretty valid questions.
Yeah, well, questions you'd expect walking into a press conference from a journalist. But there's a weird thing in rugby because of access to players and such, where oftentimes sports journalists will not ask the hard questions and they'll set up a patsy sort of press conference. But the thing is, Thomas Mead is not a sport reporter that they sent in from TV1.
Yeah.
He's just a reporter.
Yeah.
So he went in, I wouldn't say hardcore, but he just asked the very direct questions.
Yes, he questioned his position. Anyway, this is the hot mic moment where he was caught and when they were packing down the microphones.
Players feeling about your performance as coach. Have you had much feedback from them?
Yeah, get it every
These are the
minute
questions.
of every day.
Yeah.
What have they said to you?
Valid.
Oh, they're personal conversations which I'm not prepared to share with you.
What's the general theme of those conversations? Do they support you as coach?
I wouldn't be here if I felt otherwise. Who's he? I'll talk to you afterwards.
So, the words there you can't quite hear because there's a bit of rattling going on. Is he's a disgrace, that cunt. Who is he?
Yeah. And then the Crusaders media person goes, I'll talk about it in a minute. He goes, no, we'll talk about it now. Those not the exact words, but it's basically.
Yeah.
So the media person's trying to save him because he's like, your mic's still on.
There's hot mics. There's hot mics everywhere.
You say that in the lift, in the car on the way out, who was that guy, but your mic's still on, mate. But I was thinking about it, isn't it interesting? Because this stuff happens in sport overseas all the time. And it's one of the reasons why we love sport. It's drama, and you need it for that montage where you see the guy at the bottom, he was under pressure. He walks out of the press conference and then he comes back against adversity and he wins. And then you have that awesome moment when they take it out. And that's what you need. You need the up and down.
And the moment, and those you've seen those moments overseas where they call out the journo that criticise them.
Yeah.
Hey, like them. Hey, like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever you name it. But like
that's sport.
I love it. Unfortunately, Rob Penny does look like a bit of a see you next Tuesday himself.
Yeah.
Because he can't handle the line of questioning.
It does. It looks weak because if you can't handle that line of questioning, what kind of pressure can you handle?
Yeah.
And also, we've all seen that look that's on his face when he's leaving. He's walked out and he's looking back at the cameraman, giving him the stink eye.
Yeah.
And we've seen that look at pubs before.
Oh,
you know, that guy that's leaving the pub, but he really wants to come back and smack you in the head.
He's going to wait outside.
Yeah, he's waiting outside for you in the car park look, isn't it?
Yeah. So, look, I'm not a coach. I'm not a professional rugby player, so I don't know the pressure they're under. But to answer those questions, it's best to be just honest and go, look, these conversations that I am having, obviously everyone's disappointed with our performance. No one's happy that we're currently 10th, and we're doing all we can to qualify the next two games. But the results are disappointing. I know that reflects badly on me.
Yeah.
And then there's the guys, okay, we probably move on.
I mean, it's so clear. You could have predicted those questions unless you were expecting a classic New Zealand rugby media patsy kind of meeting. But it's so easy, as you say, you go into that thing and go, look, no one's hurting more than you, than me and the team. Yeah. And look, I can guarantee to the fans that we're doing everything we can. We're looking at a lot of areas and we're going to be looking long and hard at every part of the organisation on the break. And look, I guarantee we'll be coming back as a stronger Crusaders for the fans next year. And look, I just want to do that, let people know that we're plans in place and we're going forward. You just go into that bloody bullshit.
Yeah, totally. And then they'll go, is your place as coach under threat? And we go, I'll discuss that into the season. We've got a season. We've got a Super Rugby season to finish.
Yeah.
Just bat that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've still got games to play, and we're very focused on next week's game, and we respect the opposition. And I just think it's too early. But whatever decisions are made, I personally very dedicated to this organisation. It's a dream come true to be doing them, and I believe I've got more to offer the organisation. But that's not a decision for me to make. What I do is I go week to week, and I just try and win games. And it's so easy. It's so easy. You don't go no.
I know it's not good, but he's under a bit of pressure. Rob Penny. But he does look like. First of all, he's got a head like an Easter Island statue. Yeah, that's not a good start. Yeah, he doesn't look like he carries a great sense of humour. It's very yin and yang between Razor Robinson and Rob Penny. Yeah, it must be some people in that wider squad must be like, Jesus Christ.
Well, wasn't it interesting though, because he did apologise after that loss at I was going to say Jade Stadium. But he did apologise after that loss in Christchurch, and then
it's Apollo Landing Stadium.
Yeah, I've got to try and remember Apollo Landing Stadium. That's what it is.
It was formerly Orange Cherry.
Cherry? It was Popma Cherry. Something about Stadium? Virginity Stadium.
Yeah, something like that.
At one point, it was Jade Stadium, but then something happened in 2011. I can't remember what. Something happened. Something happened to Jade Stadium. Then they're in the shitter. It was called Popma Cherry. Anyway, he was there, and he was apologising. And to Justin Marshall, saying how much he respected Justin Marshall. I felt really sorry from there because I was like, you don't need to apologise. I'm sure you're doing your best. You don't need to apologise to the fans.
But it's quite disarming, though, if you got a coach apologising, you can't then turn around and just pile onto him.
Yeah, absolutely. The apology, good on him. I didn't feel like he needed to. But then he got all antsy because they held that shot. Sky held that shot of him in the box by himself after the next loss, just absolutely devastated. And he was saying that was unfair. But that shot is the most anyone that watched rugby knows that they've got a camera on the coach's box to get their reaction to absolutely everything. And what did he think? That they weren't going to hold on him as he was sitting there looking grim, or that they need to cut away out of respect after a certain amount of time? I think he was complaining that he had mates in the box and they weren't wide enough to see that he wasn't on his own. He's really living an emotional roller coaster there. But once again, as I said before, that shot of dejection in the coach's box, you need that for the montage when you come back. And there's nothing better than coming from the bottom to the top. Winning as the Crusaders when you win every bloody year is one thing. That's great, and you'll get Razor Robinson breakdancing. But if you have an absolute shitter one year, there's a shot of you absolutely grim in the box, and then they cut into the shot of you holding the trophy. That's sporting moments.
Yeah, poor Rob Penny, but he has provided us with a fair amount of content.
And sport is soap opera for men, isn't it? So we love it. We love it.
Especially
we love talking about it. We love,
especially when you call someone a cunt.
Yeah, someone
I love
cunt.
That.
Yeah, if he wins next year, everyone will love him for calling that guy a cunt.
Yeah, I think in the next press conference, who was the reporter?
It's Thomas Mead.
He should have a T-shirt saying "I'm a cunt."
Yeah,
or a hat.
Thomas Mead, by his own admission, doesn't know anything about sport, and a lot of people saying there's a guy here that doesn't know anything about sport, but you're allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
And they're pretty freaking simple questions.
He's a very small man too. So in that press conference.
And an angle that should make him look bigger from perspective, in a Gandalf kind of forced perspective. He looked so small.
Some would say standing BJ.
Yeah, he could definitely give a standing BJ to Rob Penny. And he might be forced to. I mean, that might have happened in the car park.
That may be the deal. If I win Super Rugby next year, you're getting down for an SBJ.
How good that would have been if Rob Penny go, okay, standing BJ, here's a deal for you. Next year, if we're back here, I don't know why I'm putting an Australian accent for it, but it seems like it's more the kind of rugby league coach behaviour. And you're on your knees, buddy. Not that you need to be, all right? Okay, and I'll just leave it at that.
And and then when he finally wins Super Rugby and that's happening, he's just whispering, "You little cunt."
You're a cunt then. You're still a cunt now.
Anyway, okay. Aaron Smith, he's come out on a podcast and talked a bit about the fact that he says in a few years' time, New Zealand will be like Australia and it will allow all players playing overseas to represent the All Blacks. He used the Ghetto law or something. And that Ghetto law is if you play more than 50 tests for your country, you're eligible to be picked if you play overseas. Yeah. At least it's a line. At the moment, it's very kind of cherry picking. You're on sabbatical.
It's a very teacher's pet kind of situation.
Yeah, who's on sabbatical and who isn't? Richie Mo'unga is not on sabbatical.
Yeah, and now they're trying to turn what he's on into a sabbatical.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm on a couple of mil a year. You can go get it.
Yeah.
But you got Bodie Barrett and Ardie Savea who are on sabbaticals. Sam Cane was on a sabbatical until he did the Colin de Gronholm and retired. So he gets out of his contract and then he goes back to Japan to play more couple of years.
Yeah.
So Aaron Smith has said that he says it's not really workable. He himself is retired and is playing over in Japan.
Yeah.
But he's also backed Ardie Savea to come rocking back in from Japan, straight off the sushi train and straight into the captain of the All Blacks.
Yeah, whereas, you'd say the heir apparent to it would be Dogrel.
Dogrel's injured, though.
Yeah.
That's also an issue.
Yeah, but, yeah. So who else is there? It's only between Dogrel and Ardie Savea. So if Dogrel's down, then it's Ardie Savea.
Yeah, it has to be.
But then when Dogrel's back, because I think there's a bit of a problem where we have in and out kind of situations. And Sam Cane was an interesting one because he was the captain, but then he was injured, and then, I mean, God.
But Cody's 8%. He's back.
Yeah,
he took a proper sabbatical.
So what do you need? You need a leader of men.
Yes.
And you need someone who is always going to be selected. And I mean, this is kind of a point against Dogrel. You need someone that doesn't get red carded every second game.
Yeah, that's true. These are all valid points. And I think your first point, you have to be an automatic selection. And I can't really name an automatic selection right now.
No.
Someone like maybe Anton Leonard-Brown or Bodie Barrett if he's eligible. Like, I can't think. You're not going to get anyone in the front row apart from Cody.
You can't have a fullback captain that's miles away from everyone all the time.
And there's going to be a new halfback. There's going to be a new number 8. If Ardie's not playing, if Ardie's not captain, there's going to be new locks. There's new flankers.
Yeah.
Because the flankers are gone. Frizzell's off. Kane's off. Whitelock's off. Retallick's off.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So that first point is like, oh, well, who's a certainty?
Yeah.
Who is a certainty?
And they tried to bring Sam Whitelock back, didn't they? Because they didn't have a locking thing. He's like, no thanks.
It's like, who's leaking this stuff? Like, is Razor just like, is he sending out DMs like a horny 19-year-old on fucking a Friday night?
Is he making the request on X?
Yeah.
Hey, Whitey. Captain Caveman. You want to come back? You captain if you come back.
Is he getting Richie McCaw a call? Richie. Go get out of the helicopter for a sec. Stop fucking.
I think there's a problem when people don't have an era that's theirs. You know what I mean? I always think about that. I also think that in first 5, I think that's been a problem for the All Blacks. We haven't had a first 5. You take Dan Carter was the first 5, and it was his era.
Yeah.
And same with Mertz.
Yeah.
And Grant Fox. You have these eras where that's their thing, and so you have to have eras with that. This is the captain for this era. And this is the first 5 for the era, and I think teams go really well. All Blacks teams go really well in those kind of eras. But we're kind of in the situation now, as you say, who's the cert?
It's good though. It's exciting because it's pretty much a clean slate. And it's a clean slate with the coach as well. That's why I think Razor's a bit like, oh shit, we've got England first up in July, down in Dunedin and then up in Auckland. So it's a pretty tough assignment first up with a team that I couldn't, you can't really name right now.
As a Chiefs fan, wouldn't you say back the hyena, first 5 and captain?
Yeah, Anton Leonard-Brown outside him, just for some certainty there. I mean the hyena. He's not really a leader of men though. The hyena.
He's sort of a run round behind the line and find some space kind of guy.
Great smile on him. Look, Dalton Papali'i has potential. I think he is a certainty potentially on the open side to start the game because he's usually subbed off. Subbing a captain off is unless you're miles ahead.
What about Paddy?
Oh, Tuipulotu, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, great captain for Auckland.
Yeah.
Paddy, Paddy's got to be in the conversation, isn't he?
Surely.
Tuipulotu?
I'd say so. When he's not working for One News, he should definitely be taken into consideration for that. Righto, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. We'll touch on some more stadium chat as well, and we'll get some, we'll try and force some yours pleases down your throat. Right, some breaking news. Matt Heath, obviously we've known for breaking, probably I don't think we've ever broken any news on this podcast.
Well, it's not live, is it?
No, it's not. It comes out later. But Mody Moar.
So even if we are breaking this news, by the time this comes out, we won't have broken it?
No. And to be honest with you, it's in the newspapers now. So we're breaking it on an audio medium, podcast medium.
We're early.
The first podcast.
Yeah,
Mody Moar, coach of the Breakers, he has been released from his contract a year early on compassionate grounds.
Wow.
So he's gone. Interesting time to do it because the Breakers haven't filled their roster for next season, and he's gone. So there's going to be some interesting developments there.
Tumultuous. So Israeli American.
Yep.
So I don't know what you can read into that. It'd be pure speculation, but there's some stuff happening in the Middle East at the moment.
Do you think he's going to go sort that out?
I don't know. You don't think he's like putting on the...
He hasn't been conscripted, has he?
Yeah.
He didn't do it as a teenager, and they've gone... Come on.
So get the armour on, and you're in there, mate.
Yeah.
Yep, we're calling you back.
So there we go. Breakers, it's not a great pre-season for them if they're going to struggling to fill their squad. And the coach, who's been with the team for a number of years, I'm just trying to work out how many years he's been there. It seems like he's been there for quite some time. Since 2019.
Yeah.
So that's a fair,
some tough times.
That's a fair stint.
Yes. It would have been fifth season, I guess. Yeah.
So there we go. It says some news from the Breakers. That's going to be super niggly. Right. Stadium chat is getting heated. Apparently today, the council are going to decide the two finalists, if you will, who are going to go away and
kind of though, because the options are fund one or the other or nothing.
Yes.
And what do you think is going to happen? Knowing Auckland and the fact that we never looked forward to the future at all.
Yeah.
I reckon if you're putting money down, I reckon the draw is a decent bet. There'd be good eating on the draw.
I didn't know that was another option. I read that yesterday. It's like, it's option, they're going to get two options to go away and do some more due diligence. And that's going to happen this week. One of them's going to be Eden Park, and one's going to be either the Key Park or the Wynyard Point. Sunken Stadium's gone. But then yesterday they threw out another one saying, and the other option is status quo. We don't spend any money. And I was like, I didn't even knew that was an option. Of course that's going to happen.
Yeah. If you give them an opportunity to not make a decision, they won't make a decision.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the designs for Eden Park are pretty freaking cool. I'd love to have that I live in the area, but that a little bloody football ground in the outer oval, how beautiful would that be?
Look, I'm throwing it out there. All the designs from all of them look pretty mean. The design stuff, and I mean, it's obviously that's what it's for, to get people.
I guess the problem for the stadium, the one downtown, is how the huge amount of money it would be. I mean, you kind of got a beautiful, amazing thing, an insane amount of money.
Yeah,
you got nothing, or you've got Eden Park with less money. So it's kind of a. I mean, how much money have we got now? I mean, AT's trying to... Auckland Transport's trying to blast us for 24-hour parking because everything's so broke. Rates are going up at $1 trillion, a trillion% a year. I mean, I can just see them chickening out and not doing anything.
They so well chicken out.
And the problem is that a lot of people make the decision, don't even care about sport. That's the thing. A lot of them think, oh, yeah, you'd be a better chance of getting a opera house.
You totally would, because the arts people are way better at lobbying.
Yeah.
And there's less kickback if you fund $1 billion fucking opera theatre.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wish I'd got a chance to vote either a tunnel up Queen Street.
Oh, I know.
Or a stadium, because the tunnel up Queen Street is going to cost about $2 or $3 billion.
And, the tunnel up, the City Rail Link?
Yeah.
It's $5.8 billion and $220 million a year to run,
Jeez.
No matter how many people on it. So every year, that is running at $220 million of our rates and taxes to run that City Rail Link once they're finished. They sold it to us at $1.8 billion, they said, and we went, God, that is a lot of money. Oh, my goodness. It's now, it's over $5 billion.
See, look, imagine that. Anyway, I don't want to guess.
So what could you do? What could you, I mean, bloody nice to sort of feel like you're over in London and you're catching the tube briefly from downtown up to Mount Eden or K Road. Not nice to feel like an international city briefly and looks good for the people coming off the cruise ships. But that is an insane amount of money. How many things could we have frickin' done?
Can we fill it in?
Well, I asked this of Chris Hipkins when he was the Prime Minister. I said, when do you just pull out? When do you just say it's cost 3 times as much as you said it would? You're just throwing money literally down a hole. And he goes, no, these generational things, you've just got to keep going. And then you think, did you guys always frickin' know how much it was going to cost and you lied to us?
I blame the Ngāti Whātua room. That was his legacy.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was about to climax inside Bevan Schwang, and he just thought, I love tunnels. And then now we're still
I'm going to build the biggest as a result of this.
As an honour. It's like the Taj Mahal. as a tribute to this sex act in the Ngāti Whātua room. Len Brown was like, I'm going to build
a beautiful tunnel. A beautiful tunnel to match the tunnel of.
I don't care how much it costs. I don't care if it bankrupts the country.
Yeah,
I'm building that tunnel. I think that's what happened.
I think that's what happened. The Taj Mahal, we'll call it. Anyway.
Good times.
Great times. I will take a really quick break here and we'll be back with a few more of your yours pleases. So keep those coming through. Back in just a mo.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Rightio, we get a pile of these every week. They range from the superb to the rather sick. But it is the little microphone button on your iHeartRadio app. Press that and you can send us a message straight into our inbox. First one, yours, please.
G'day lads, Steve from the Goon here. Hey, love your enthusiasm for moving to Christchurch, bringing the ACC down here. But on behalf of all North Cantabrians, we don't want you here. You're probably better off down in your Waimatis, your Temukas and your Timaroos. So more than welcome to, I think South Canterbury will have you with open arms. So yeah, something to consider.
Well,
South Canterbury sucks.
Oh, geez.
So there's a couple of parts to this, Matt, that I have to tell you about. There's quite a lot of people using this Yours Please platform to get across some abuse from North to South Canterbury. A lot of fuck South Canterbury comes in on these.
That's a nice
it's a very
lightning rod.
It is. So that's what's going on there. And also, we talked about the ACC moving to Christchurch. As we discussed, Auckland can't get their shit together, and they never probably will. Christchurch are building the Takaha Stadium, and they've obviously got Hagley Oval. They're going to have two of the best grounds for my two favourite sports right next to each other. Let's just flag Auckland and move to Christchurch. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
And then, but obviously, I don't know where we're going to live because we're not welcome in North Canterbury. Yeah. South Canterbury is niggly as well because if Mania moves down there, he's just going to go down a hole and never come back.
Yeah, that's him done.
But Central Christchurch, I guess, we could live in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're talking about sporting zones, you've got to say the University Oval and the Sistema Lunchbox.
Oh, yeah.
Forsyth Bar Stadium. That's a little sporting zone.
It is a little sporting zone. The University Oval, though, I think it just needs something. It's got a very strange shape end.
I went to a couple of games down there recently over the last few years.
Yeah.
Quite an incredible lack of atmosphere in there, even if there's a lot of people in there.
That's the problem.
I'm trying to work out why that is.
It's the Oval. It's the same at Mount Maunganui.
Yeah.
And the same, because at Mount Maunganui, at that Black Clash, there were, 13,000 people there who were wasted and partying. Yet the atmosphere was still quite
the sound
quiet.
just goes up.
It just disappears.
There's so much sky.
Yeah, it just disappears.
You need to have the stands for it to echo around, don't you?
So you need to trap it in somehow. And Hagley Oval's the same. Hagley Oval can be full, and you can hear a pin drop, and you could, you just hear.
Yeah.
So that's the same.
I mean, that's why, taking the 2015 Cricket World Cup, some of those games at Eden Park and those games at the Cake Tin, when they're absolutely crowded, rammed. And you're so loud,
insanely loud, so loud that you almost can't hear yourself cheer.
Yeah.
That's why someone put a yours please the other day saying and we talked about it. You can't beat Wellington on a good day. You can't beat the Wellington Stadium if it's full.
Yeah.
But when it's empty, it sucks hard.
It didn't bloody help the Phoenix, did it?
No. And also
the Knicks.
There's not often a good day in Wellington, and it's not often that stadium's full. So that's why those two slogans are quite handy.
They're quite defeatist, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you can't beat, a bottle of gin and a bag of cocaine. But you don't always have them.
That's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. But, if you don't have them, you don't have them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, correct. Okay, right. Next caller, yours, please.
Gentlemen, all of the fancy stadiums here in Australia are funded by the state government. It's something that New Zealand doesn't have. It's a layer between the councils and the federal government. They have a shit ton of money and they like to spend it. You got no chance of getting Auckland Council to make a decision on anything. Fuck them. Take it out of Auckland, like you said, not Christchurch. Bowl of Brooklyn's Pukekura Park.
Is that recorded in under duvet in bed at night when his wife's like?
There's a lot of these. there's a lot of these that are we think are either recorded in the dark, or in the light.
That sounded in the dark.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and his missus is asleep.
Yeah,
and he's like, but he's listening to the Agenda podcast, and he's like, I need to comment on this.
Yeah,
and just after that, she's got, Jesus, shut
up. Who are you talking to?
I was just sending something to the Agenda. The ACC, fucking shut up.
What are you talking to them now?
Oh, now the baby's awake. That's what's happened there.
And then he's gone, I got a stiffy now, is there any chance?
Yeah.
And
well,
gone, no.
I tell you what, Auckland Council will make a decision on, and the White Auckland, Yeah, man, we'll spend $1 trillion on a bike lane. Shit, yeah, shove that right up your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll shut down a shopping district and put fucking bike lanes through there so no one will buy anything. We'll do that right now.
We'll dig a hole up Queen Street.
Yeah, tick that off. Let's freaking do it. But anything that brings joy to people, nah, fuck people having a good time. Just work, pay your taxes, shut up, and
go to Australia if you want to watch sport in a good stadium.
Yeah, fuck you. You know where to park. Screw you. Fucking good times, no way. We hate spending money on good times.
I know.
We're so puritanical.
Well, that's only because there's a couple of people who will complain, who will send a message in saying, hey, if you put a roof on Eden Park, that's going to block my view of Mount Eden. Do
you know what's a good reason to borrow money for? If you're going to borrow money? A holiday. You're up against it. You're hardly hitting your mortgage payments.
Yeah.
But you're like, fuck it. Let's spend 30 grand on a holiday.
That's like,
and you throw it on. That's what, because spending money on experiences is where you want to spend your money. You don't want to spend it on who gives a shit about sewage. Not me.
Exactly. And I did
shit
that
in the streets.
I did that at university when I got the course-related costs, and I got, you get I get 10 grand up front for course-related costs of buying textbooks and computers and all that shit. Went to Bali.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
smart, because you'll remember that forever.
And then
parts of it.
No, I didn't spend any of it. And then people like Paul Ford, who got a student loan and bought a property in Whangamata.
Classic Paul Ford.
I know. Anyway, okay, the last, yours please.
G'day, fellas. Hey, just thinking with the Olympics, what schoolyard games would you like to see become an Olympic event, like bull rush? Maybe who can do the biggest mano off the bridge? I think Piri Weepa would go pretty well on that, actually. Hide and go seek. I don't know. I'd like to know. What's your thoughts on this?
Shit,
cheers, guys.
Hide and seek would be good, wouldn't it?
Hide and seek would be great.
I mean, what kind of? I mean, do you just have a big stadium full of like cupboards and beds,
and you have like the athlete will be the smallest little contortionist you could find, who would just bury him or herself into the cavity of something. That would be good. Balloon kepi-uppy.
Oh, I love balloon kepi-uppy.
Yeah, so an enclosed room with various obstacles and just got a balloon. And
they're going to move balloon kepi-uppy to breakable things. There needs to be glass on the table.
And you get penalised.
Yeah, there's a Ming vase that's worth quite a lot of money.
yeah. And there's one thing it's like potting the black.
Yeah.
If you actually smash that, it's game over, and that could be the Ming vase in the middle.
Yeah.
Catch and kiss, but that's got a few consent issues in this modern day era. Run it straight is almost the new bull rush.
Yep.
That could be quite good. Foursquare.
Yeah.
Do they call it handball now?
Yeah, handball.
Foursquare.
Handball's just against the wall. Yeah. Oh, is that what my kids were saying? They're playing handball at school. Is that what they're playing? I thought they were hitting the ball against the wall.
Nah, that's like the Foursquare. Yeah. What about Forceback?
Oh, yeah, Forceback would be bloody good.
That would be good.
Boat race?
Yes. Not many boat races happening in the schoolyard, is there? What's apart from your school?
Yeah, no,
Logan.
To be fair, there was Logan Park, Bogan Park High School on Butts Road in Dunedin. There was the odd boat race at lunchtime.
What are they? I don't know. I'm trying to think of other games we used to play. Tree climbing.
Oh, yeah, tree climbing. Yeah.
Throwing spiders at girls.
Yep.
It was a good one.
Worm mash, where you go in the netball courts and you put all the worms you can find under the netball hoops that are held up, that are just stuck on a concrete tyre.
Yeah.
And then you put all the worms in there, you mash them up, and then you chase girls and throw mashed worms at them.
Marbles?
No one knows the rules of marbles once they leave school. What are the rules of marbles?
It was my first experience of gambling, actually, marbles, because what it was you challenged another person, and if you like their marble, I'll play you for that marble. I've got these 6 marbles. I want that conker marble. And you put them in the hole, and if you win it all.
Yeah.
So it's like that's my first sports gambling experience, where I was like negotiating first for the pot, and then playing for the pot.
Because I'd come home sometimes with a bag of so many marbles, but I can't remember the rules. Like, what do you even do?
You just got to get it in the hole. So and the school hated it because you're digging these holes in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And then you put the pot in there, and then you start from a point with your marble, and you got to try and get it into the hole.
I don't think that's how we played marbles. In
Isn't
fact,
it?
there was a paper done about this and how kids can create games really, really easy, this investigation. And then the rules of a game will stay in a primary school and people will know them, but then they can't really be explained, because our marbles is we'd flick them in with your finger and it was kind of like sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Whatever came out.
Ah.
So you'd knock it out of the circle. And so, like, if your one's got knocked out of the circle, then they belong to the other one. What have you knocked out of the circle?
Oh, we did other ones where
that's why you wanted the big conker.
Yes, we also did the one where you had to hit the other one.
Yeah.
So it was like a constant game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
If you missed it by just a bit, then you're stuffed because the next person can whack you.
So there's lots of different games of marbles. So I guess there'd be different governing bodies, and it'd be really hard to sort of get together.
It'll be like boxing. There'll be so many belts.
Yeah.
There'll be so many marble belts. But it got banned from our school, like most schools eventually, because the odd careless person would leave a big conker on the field, and the lawnmower would come over it, and the lawnmower would just send a billion shards of glass through the football field. So it's got to make sense.
The exact thing happened at Mody Moar Primary School when I was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the caretaker's just pulling us.
Yeah.
God damn it! He was actually more upset it was messing with his blades.
Yeah.
He didn't care that there was 1,000 shards of glass about to go into kids. He had to go back into his shed and polish his blade. No, that's not a
polished blade. Well, I imagine there would have been.
He would have been definitely polishing his blade. Most caretakers were polishing their blades during class time. Anyway, that'll do for today's agenda. We'll be back tomorrow with a Friday agenda previewing the weekends of sport. Plus, we'll have the TAB Sports Book. Another couple of good tips on the sports book last week that came good. So tune into that one, and we'll see you later.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.